Okay, my name is Linda Stitt. I was born in Huntsville in 1932. I was raised mostly in Georgetown. I lived with my grandfather and his family because my folks had a resort in Muskoka. And so they spent a lot of time up there in the spring and fall getting ready to open and then closing. And then my folks bought a house in Toronto. And I think the first place I ever read in Toronto in public was the Cafe May. Wow. And the Alive Poets were so supportive. I remember you could do anything outrageous, and I could do anything outrageous, and everybody could do whatever they liked. And the group was so supportive. It was such a pleasure to be out there with all these people just doing their thing, and yeah. Last night on television, the renowned British psychiatrist R.D. Laing expressed his opinion that nobody should be put in prison because they fucked a duck. My thoughts went immediately to the duck. Mature, consenting, male or female? And was there protection from pregnancy and STDs? Anal or vaginal penetration? Enough foreplay to guarantee lubrication? Was the duck provocatively dressed? Sexually aggressive? Did it say no, but meant maybe? Was it a platonic acquaintance, a blind date, or a complete stranger? And was it driven home, or just dumped on a deserted road to waddle bedraggedly back to the dorm? Will this incident leave it permanently scarred or roll like water off its back? Where are the animal rights activists? Are we to have no policy statement from the SPCA? Has the Humane Society abandoned its principles? Let the shrinks busy themselves with the duck fuckers, be they neurotic, psychotic, maladjusted, antisocial, sociopathic, or merely presbyopic. My concern is for the mallards, the pintails, the scoters, the mergansers, the violated daisies, daffies, and donalds whose ruffled feathers elicit no outcry from the flock of complacent quacks. My mother read poetry to me in the womb. And I say that I came out crying in iambic pentameter. As I started doing poetry as soon as I could talk, practically, because my folks encouraged me. You know, when we were going for a long car ride or something, they would say, "Linda, give us a poem," or something like that. I think mainly just to keep me out of their hair. One day, I was going to visit him, and I had a friend of mine along, and she was holding the manuscript of my first book. And she jumped in his lap and said, "Look what your daughter has done." And to my great surprise, he approved. And he used to take me to Rotary lunches to read. Yeah, it was strange. But yeah, he finally approved of me. And it's usually somewhere around 4 in the morning when I wake up on the couch and decide to go to bed. And the muse comes along and says, "Oh, hold it. I got something for you." And then it comes. Like, I can't even claim to write it. I sometimes try and edit it, but I just have to take it the way it comes. Sometimes a couple of lines will come first that are bouncing around in there, and then if I sit down and just be quiet and pay attention, it will pretty much dictate itself. If I sit down and have a toke and then be very quiet and just sit and listen to what's going on in there, sometimes, you know, there's something bouncing around in there that will bounce out if I if I don't ignore it. I may write about different things, and maybe it's not as funny as it used to be, because life is not quite as funny as it used to be. But I mean, when we realize that we're all the same, we all come from the same place, we all go to the same place, and it's a lot nicer if we do it with love. Yeah, I think poetry can encourage that, can make it clear that that love is the natural state, that joy is the natural state. The more we realize this and see that we have to speed up our evolution a little bit, or we're not going to have any. I still have a little hope. I hope that we will all come together and change and hasten our development and raise our vibration and do something miraculous, because otherwise I think the end of our species is quite possible. Behind the mask, beneath the paint, beyond the blade of arbitrary time, there has been one, integral and sublime, being whatever, whoever, whatever it chose to be, being you, being me, being itself in myriad manifestation. So, not to spoil the game, but just to have a moment's celebration, let's recollect with love and jubilation that we are one.